What's up, my crew members? My name is Andrew. I'm here with Rob.
Yellow.
And welcome to episode 9 of the SuperHeroCrew podcast. How's it going, Rob? How's it going?
It's been a week.
It's been a whole entire week since the last episode of the SuperHeroCrew podcast. I know. It's been too long. But, yes, welcome. And I say this every week. But wow, we really made it this far.
I don't know why you're so surprised all the time.
Because I thought what would happen is that this would be just like, one of those fads, like those things that I tried for like 2 episodes. But no, it's actually going pretty good.
Oh, I don't hear Coach though.
Oh, well, that is because he is actually under the weather today, and it's very disappointing, and I'm very upset.
Are we gonna let it in everybody's on the truth that Coach doesn't actually exist? He's just it's just you dressed up.
I mean, I don't know if we can if I don't know if the audience can handle the truth. But yeah, so last episode was Comic-Con news so far. Okay, that's what it was called.
Mm-hmm.
But then what ended up happening is that there was no more news after that, and I thought like we'd have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Like after, or at least this week, but no, there's literally just a single thing, a single article that we can talk about, but we'll talk about that after because it has to do with the first topic that I would love to talk about right here, right now, and that is Powers 10.
That DC gave up and didn't even bother putting anything out at New York Comic Con? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly, which I don't understand. But Powers of X, Powers of 10.
Powers of 10, House of X, yep.
So, before I get into the craziness, first of all, I asked Coach what his opinion was, and he thought it was really good. He really liked it, and he likes how it it ended the story, and it's going to continue with all the X-Men books. Now, Rob, what did you think about Powers of 10?
I think it was a well done single issue prequel to the next set of stories for X-Men. There was no story in that. I guess there was. I guess the sort of story is them setting up the quote-unquote government, which is like the worst government anybody's ever set up. But I don't think it's ever good when you have more bad guys in your government than good guys. But and then the Powers of 10, this issue was just nothing. It really was. And then they went to the future, and it was just like all heady and trying to say how mutants are never going to inherit the Earth because humans don't evolve. They just control everything now. We don't have to evolve anymore. It's just it was just really annoying to me, this issue especially. I didn't mind a House of X number 6, but Powers of 10 number 6 was not good. I did not enjoy it. And they just showed the exact same scene again with Moira on the bench with Professor X. It's like we've seen it about 10 times in this series.
The thing is with this series, it's literally like a well done mess. That's what it is. That's the best way I can describe it. And I need to just say that yes, I do like it in the sense that it is written really well, and I think it's pretty good. But the problem is that there's really just that's like I've never felt this way about a book where I've liked it, but at the same time I really don't because of a completely different reason. Like I like it, but I also don't like it because there's nothing going on, and you literally could have done 5 issues.
Yeah.
2 issues.
I think 5 issues is too long, yeah.
A one shot, for Christ's sake. There
was a lot of filler and a lot of just like background stuff. You can tell Hickman really likes the background and building the world. It's like, well, then you put out like a source book or something they used to do, like where it'd have all the history and all the background stuff. It didn't have to be in the comic. Plus, I expected in this issue, I expected some big revelation, like Professor X dies, or something that sparks off the next set of books, and it really nothing happened. Oh, they set up the government. Okay, now the X-Men are bad guys running an evil corporation selling drugs to people. Like, I don't get it. I wanted something, a little bit of a seed, like one of the X-Men suspects there's something bad going on, or there's something to bring the story forward, and it was just nothing. It was just, okay, we set up a government. Everything worked out perfectly, exactly how we wanted to work out. There was no like trouble in it all. We're immortal now. The X-Men are literally immortal, and it's like, unless in the first X-Men #1 in that comic book, unless they kill off the mutants who can make them immortal or do something to like really make it all worthwhile, I don't know what the point was of this whole series. And also the point was to bring new X-Men readers in. I feel sorry for anyone who read this and wasn't an X-Men reader beforehand. And also feel sorry if you did get into it because of this, because now you got 8 comic books a month to buy to get the rest of the story. Like, for me, it's fine. I was going to read it anyways. It's X-Men. I was going to read this whole new reboot. But for new readers, I can't think this is going to help the sales in the long run. It'll help it in the short run. Like, this, I'm sure this sold amazingly. But and all the #1s will sell great. But I guarantee there'll be a huge drop-off after that first month.
Yeah. And, like, if you really want to get... I'm sure, like with Fabian, for example, he from what I heard, he seems to like it, but come on, though, like, if you're getting into the X-Men because of this, like Fabian, you have 6 books that you have to read, and who knows if it'll turn out to be twice a month per book. So
I can't think they do that.
12 books. 12 books a month. Yeah, like,
well,
it's just ridiculous.
Like, it's at least $40 a month just in the X-Men title. Actually, I think it's more than that because we're going to discuss another title they just announced.
Yeah,
and it's they should have just kept 1 or 2 series after this to get everybody going, and then slowly introduce more as they went to get people more hooked. But Marvel is greedy. They were like, we know we can get tons of instant money for the end of our quarter. It'll look good on the sheets when we sell all these #1s, and that's all it is. And they really did not reboot the X-Men. That's what this is.
According to this article on Newsarama, Dawn of X-Men is a massive story that will be remembered for years to come. So you have to read X-Men. You have to read everything.
Oh yeah,
literally everything.
Yeah, like all these new series are out of this. Like, I guess you don't technically have to read it all, but if you want the full story, you have to read everything.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I'm cheap. I'm trying to cut down my books that I'm reading. This is not good at all. 6 books. I'm literally getting the first issue of X-Men just so I can complain about it next week. And then that's it. I'm never getting an X-Men book again. Possibly the Wolverine book, but we'll see. I'm still debating on that, which we'll talk about. Yes, Wolverine's getting his own series again. We'll talk about it eventually, but possibly that. But like, it's crazy. It really is crazy, and this is why I really don't like what they did with this stuff. And you could say or think to yourself, well, Andrew hates everything. No. I'm not saying I necessarily hate the book. No. It's just what they're doing with it is bad.
Just the way they're handling the whole thing. With the whole point was to get new readers into the X-Men, and this is not going to do that.
Yeah,
like, it will get some. Like, I assume there'll be some, but I'm sure a lot of people will be like, "This is crazy. I'm not reading this," and drop off.
Yeah,
and it's in the real Marvel universe, which that's another thing at the end. I thought they would reveal, oh, that was all another one of Moira's lives, and we're in the actual this life now. But no, this is the real life, and we have to live with it. So I don't know why the Avengers haven't attacked the X-Men already, and all the Marvel heroes to stop this evil country from taking over. So
I forgot what book I was reading, but some Marvel book. They mentioned, they were like, They were like, why don't we talk to these guys or these guys? Why don't we talk to the X-Men? And then someone goes, they're like, no, the X-Men are being a little bit weird right now.
Yeah, it was Contagion with.
That's right. Yeah.
It was Iron Fist said that, and of all people, Iron Fist to say that that's a major insult.
Yeah.
No, like I don't know how they're going to tie it in, and they probably won't. They'll ignore it in all the other comic books. Meanwhile, the X-Men are pretty much running the world at this point.
Yeah, and they're basically to me they're acting like villains.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt they're acting like villains. I thought it was going to be another twist, was that maybe it's going to be later on in the books where some of them start realizing, hey, we're the bad guys, aren't we?
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty freaking obvious you're the bad guys, and they're not the real ones anyways. They're all clones, so the real X-Men are dead. These are all clones.
Now, quick question about Moira. Did they basically say if she dies, the whole universe resets?
No, it's if she dies, if she gets to relive her part of the universe, It's not the whole universe resets. All those the universe continued after she was gone.
Yeah, because I don't know why I thought it said that.
And it actually, in the last, I think it was in Powers of 10, it implied that the only reason Moira had a kid is so that she could have Proteus, so that he could be be able to make the immortal X-Men. So that means all of this was just a evil plan. Really, it's a super villain plan. She never cared about her child. The only reason she had him and she trapped him in a room for 20 years is because she needed him for part of her plan. That's pretty psychopathic. All the things they're doing in this are super evil. It's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
I think Mystique was the only voice of reason. She was just I don't even care. Yeah, it was crazy.
It's surprising.
It hopefully in a year's time it'll be oh, it was all part of the big overarching plan. Yes, the X-Men were acting evil, and that wasn't really Professor X. It's somebody else, and the X-Men will slowly realize it and have to kill everyone and stop them from being able to resurrect, I guess, because otherwise, what kind of danger are until then, the X-Men are in no danger. They can just be resurrected.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's as a storytelling thing, I think it's not very good, especially as an Elseworlds. I think it's fine. What if the X-Men were evil? But
yeah,
as an actual X-Men book, as a fan, it's okay, this is strange. And nobody, usually Storm would be the voice of reason. She would be the one, hey, this is morally wrong, we shouldn't be doing this. And she's acting like a cult leader. She's leading chants in the in Krakoa. It's okay, this is strange. Nobody's acting like they should.
Yeah.
And it's just, yeah. I don't know. We'll see, but hopefully the real X-Men are in a pod somewhere, and these are just the fake X-Men. We'll find out in a year's time. Or it'll just get rebooted, and nobody will care about this.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know. I really don't know. And it's just... They really went over the top with it. It being weekly, 2 different series. You know what I mean?
And by the end, they're 2 different series that are one. Yeah, no crap, they're one.
2 series that are one, and you have to read it in a specific order.
Yeah, which they didn't. Yeah, they released it in that order, but it's not number order. It's not back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, it's gonna be like when Bendis took over the X-Men for that 1 year, and he ruined them for a little while. I think it's gonna be similar, where it's just okay. Even last year with Age of X-Men, a lot of it was terrible. And it's just a year full of bad X-Men stories. Hopefully the stories that come out of this are good, but...
Yeah. Now as an avid X-Men reader, do you think that this has ruined the X-Men?
Well, no, because the X-Men have been ruined many times. When I was, I don't even know how old, when they did X-Men #1, I was this ruined the X-Men, and I quit reading X-Men. So back in 91 or whatever it was. it happens every once in a while where the X-Men just change dramatically, and either you stay on board or you jump off. But so I've been through many of these ruining of the X-Men, so I'm past that. There's it may be bad enough not to read some of the books, but it's like you say, it's not bad writing. Like, none of it's bad. The art's great. So I can't complain about any of that. It's just the storyline itself where I'm just like, I'm not into this.
Yeah.
So it's not bad. Like, it's not what was it? The last X-Force bad, or Exiles bad. This is so far it's good. It's just not what I really want, and it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I do have to say I'm kind of happy that they don't have like 30 X-Men books though. You know, like they have X-Men and like Excalibur.
Oh, you mean like actual all X, like Uncanny X-Men and like two different types of X-Men books, X-Men Blue, X-Men Gold, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like they actually have like some of the X-Men books didn't make sense, like Exiles, or like Cable having his own book, or this having, you know what I mean, like all these different like I don't know, I just felt like there were so many X-Men books, you know what I mean?
You don't think there's just as many now?
Well, listen, there's 6, but like, there had to be like 10 like last year, going on at the same time,
I'm not sure. I think there was a bunch of separate ones, but I'm not sure at the same time. I bet it's about the same. Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's a perception thing where it's just because they did this, it seems like there's less books, but it's only because they are separating them out with better names.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe not.
Like Fallen Angels, like,
yeah.
The hell is that? And Marauders, it's like they...
Well, yeah, and also the names don't make sense. The Fallen Angels so far it doesn't seem like it has anything to do with the old Fallen Angels series, and the Marauders isn't the Marauders. It's Kitty Pryde, so she was never a Marauder. The Marauders once again were a bad guy group. So Excalibur, at least it's about Captain Britain, so that makes kind of sense. And New Mutants has all the old New Mutants plus a few extras, so that's fine. X-Force kind of makes sense because X-Force was always kind of like the Black Ops team, so that series makes sense. But yeah, Fallen Angels is the one I'm a little like, and Marauders, I know it'll be good, but I don't like the name. It should have been called the Hellfire, what is it, the Hellfire Trading Company or whatever it's going to be called, because that's what it's going to be about. I don't like the name Marauders, and especially since Kitty's dressed up like a pirate for some reason.
Yeah. Well, when those come out, I'll hear your opinion on it, because I'm not going to be getting them.
And yeah, it's not like we even get a break between when they come out. So that one ended last week, and then we get X-Men #1 this week. It never ends.
Yeah.
I don't know what the schedule is. It must be eventually it's going to be a few in the same week, right?
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
6 or 7 comic books, they have to double up some weeks.
Yeah. Oh man, it's.
I still say it should have been like 4. So 1 a week, 1 different series a week. So you're not going crazy.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people complain about the X-Men is the number of series.
Yeah.
And jumping off with 6 plus 1 that's coming out in February. Yeah. It's a lot to take in.
Let's try to appeal to new readers and come out with 6 books that they have to read if they want to know what's going on. Or at least that's what it seems like to me, that you have to read everything to know what's going on. And like House and Powers, they literally just, it was the stupidest thing. It'd be like, Emma Frost is going to be doing some trading.
Yeah, when they set up the council, they set up all the different issues,
Marauders. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, Apocalypse, you're going to go over here. Excalibur. It's like, that's literally what it seemed like. And that I thought was so dumb, Yeah,
well, it wasn't, I've seen worse. Like, usually the Marvel when they Marvel Now and all those ones, they're usually stories like, okay, this is obviously what this next series is, and like usually Marvel's a lot less subtle. This was a little more subtle than usual. But still, yeah, it was pretty blatant what they're doing. Yeah, I'm not crazy excited about all of these issues. I'm crazy excited about some of them, and I don't even know who's really doing most of them. I know we've looked at it a few times, but we'll see. As long as the art's good and we get some good writers, they can make anything good. And it'll be back to... I'm thankful it's back to just being the X-Men now. Enough of this House of X stuff. We'll deal with the repercussions, obviously, but at least it's back into being the regular series. I don't have to try to understand what's the what was it, the 10,000 years in the future is supposed to mean, that whole series, that whole part in the Powers of 10, which went nowhere. Just because Hickman had some theory about evolution. It was like, okay, I get it, buddy.
Yeah. I don't know what this, but that's pretty much our opinions on the whole House and Powers of, or well, actually Dawn of X, because that's what like the whole thing is.
Is that they've renamed it now?
I guess that's like all the new issues that are coming out. Those are part of the Dawn of X. Stupid. But I feel like the only two books that really would matter are New Mutants and X-Men, because Hickman's writing both of them.
Oh, is he?
So
yeah, those are the least excited about then, unfortunately.
Wait, what's that?
I'm least excited about those ones because Hickman's writing in the X-Men so far has been pretty expository, not too much on the story, so maybe that was just for these series. We'll see once he gets into the regular series. But if it's more of this, I'll be like, oh, come on. Write a real comic book there, buddy. I like a story, please. And they are bringing back Vulcan, the third Summers brother, so we have that to look forward to.
Oh boy. That's exciting.
But you did say you wanted to read that Wolverine book. That's coming out in February.
Yes. Well, let's talk about it. So the last New York Comic Con news, basically, that was released was that Wolverine's getting his own book in February, written by Benjamin Percy and art by Adam Kubert and Victor Bogdanovic. So I saw this, I was like, yes, yes, and yes. And I even said that I will, if the whole thing turns out to be clones, I will never read another X-Men book again unless it's a Wolverine book. But it says, Percy, writer of the acclaimed Marvel Wolverine, The Long Night, and Wolverine, The Lost Trail, joins industry legend Kubert and all-star Bogdanovic for a new series that starts the second wave of Dawn of X books, okay? Following X-Men, Excalibur, Marauders, New Mutants, Fallen Angels, and X-Force, Wolverine will explore the underworld of the New Mutants' newfound status quo. Now I'm not excited for this book, okay?
That implies there's more.
Yeah, number one, they basically just said that there's going to be a wave 2 of X-Men books. So, does that mean we're going to have 12 X-Men books now? We're getting another 6 X-Men books? You know what I mean?
Or are these first ones limited series?
Oh, I sincerely doubt it.
I do too, but maybe
Fallen Angels, maybe, but...
And Marauders, maybe.
That,
I could see that. And,
yeah. Everything else, no.
Did you listen to The Long Night, Wolverine The Long Night, the podcast?
No, I did not.
I read the comic book. There was a comic book adaptation of it. It was alright, but it wasn't groundbreaking. Like, it was pretty standard Wolverine stuff. Like, I understand they were doing that for the podcast because they want to expose it to more people. But it was alright. And this guy writes novels, like he's a novelist, and he's written a lot of DC stuff. Did you see? He's written a lot of like Nightwing and stuff like that. So
yeah,
we'll see. You can't really screw up a Wolverine story, I guess. You just have cutting some people up every once in a while. It's always fun.
But the sad thing is that it's like, no, this has everything to do with Dawn of X.
It does sound like it's leading from there. Yeah.
which is, I don't know. But like I said, they basically are implying that there's going to be more X-Men books. So, like, I'm speechless. I don't know what else to say. Like, you're really pushing it, Marvel. You're really pushing it, You want these new readers to start reading X-Men, and you're coming out with literally, by February, as of now, 7 books.
And definitely
You know
more.
what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I just hope that they do it right, and some of them are limited series. That's my only hope at this point. Or I just won't read them all. I'll find the ones I like, and that's unfortunate, but you just can't afford to read $50 worth of comic books every month.
Yeah.
And plus others. That's just X-Men comic books, let alone any other comic books you want to read.
Yeah. I'm trying to cut back on the books that I'm reading. I'm like, all right, Superior Spider-Man's ending next month. Punisher, that series ended. Magnificent Marvel, this is the end of a story arc, so I'm gonna stop reading that. Miles Morales, I think I'll stop reading I've been figuring it out in my head, like I'm reading this book, this book, this book, this book, and this book. I'm not reading this book. I'm gonna stop reading this. You know what I mean? Like books that like the books that I'm not head over heels for every month. I'm gonna try to cut down on and stop reading them. But the ones that, I really like, obviously, I'm going to still read. But it's like, I can't read 6 or 7 X-Men books.
No.
I can't.
Who's going to be able to read even a small amount of those added to the comics you're already reading? It's hard enough to add 1 comic to the amount you're reading, let alone 7.
Exactly.
And like I say, it's X-Men readers will read it, but you already had those people. You didn't have to do anything different for those people.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a weird choice. It was a very weird choice in Marvel's plan there. Once again, if they had released 4 and then done the second wave another 4 and then, but... Yeah. But I also read Marvel Comics 1001.
What was that?
Do you pick that one up?
No.
So you know how the first one kind of made sense? It was going year by year. This one was just random. It was just it had a little bit of a story about the Masked Rider at the beginning and the end, which was just the same story, but they retold it in reverse and at the end for some reason. And in the middle there was just 10 different little short stories, whatever it was. Probably more than that, I guess, because I think it's every single one was 1 page. And yeah, there was nothing in there that was worth reading. Worse than the other one. I kind of enjoyed 1000 at parts. Like, most of it was stupid, but I did enjoy parts. This one, I don't think I enjoyed a single part of it. A lot of it was just like, okay, this is just terrible. So as a grouping, avoid Marvel Comics 1000 and 1001 if you have a choice.
Did we find out who the Masked Rider is?
No, of course not.
Oh, of course not. Okay.
He just he talks in riddles, and he's kind of like because of the eternity mask, he's kind of he or she is connected with everything, so almost like a Dr. Manhattan kind of feel, way he talked, where it didn't make sense, kind of.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're going for in this one.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was. Yeah, I'm not going to say that I want to read any more Masked Rider stuff after this. I was kind of like, oh, that's interesting at the end of 1000. After reading this, I'm like, nope, I'm out.
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, there's not that really much to talk about. So I figured what we can talk about. Any other books you read this week that you want to talk about that are interesting?
I don't think so. It was a pretty light week. I don't think there was much.
Oh, it was a light week for you? Damn, you're lucky, because it wasn't for me.
I don't remember there being a lot of books this week.
I got a bunch of books. I did. The Joker Year of the Villain #1.
I did read that, yep.
And holy shit. What did you think about that?
I think it was exactly what people thought the movie was about.
Okay, I haven't seen the movie. I have no interest in seeing the movie, but I will eventually see it.
Everybody's complaining the movie's all about incel and all this stuff, and the movie's nothing to do with that, but this comic book is. Like, it's totally what they think the movie's about, this comic book's about. And it's a Joker just being manipulative and pretty hilarious, but pretty much taking advantage of mentally handicapped people.
I was like, I don't know. I was kind of just like, yeah. I started reading it and I was like, yeah, it was okay. It's okay so far. And then holy Jesus! And then at the end, with the kid and the mother, and it's like god damn, I thought it was pretty good.
When he Joker dressed up like Batman and made the poor sidekick dress up like Robin, and then later beat him to death, nearly to death with a pipe.
Yeah, and it was pretty much panel for panel with from Death in the Family, him beating the Robin,
And Joker just didn't care. He had no even idea how little he cared about that person.
Yeah.
He was just like, okay, this was fun for a while. Nah, it's not fun anymore. Enchantress just happens to walk by, so he incites a riot.
The one weird part that I thought was weird is that the guy, the what was the kid's name?
Six.
I don't even know. Yeah, whatever. 6. He hit Joker, and Joker's like, "Oh, harder."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Huh?
Yeah.
What?"
It was a little disturbing.
I was like, "What? What the hell is that?"
Because it wasn't he dressed up like Batman at the time?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Jesus. But overall, I didn't think it was that bad. I did think that it was a little weird, the red around his mouth looked very awkward to me. Because it wasn't like his lips,
Yeah,
It was very weird. It was all over his face.
Yeah, it was almost Heath Ledger kind of Joker going on there.
Yeah, but it didn't really work,
No, visually it was not the best. It was very DC, I found.
It's very DC.
But it also had, I don't know if it has anything to do with what's happening in the Year of the Villain or whatever. I don't know if that matters. But I kind of read it as a totally separate, out of continuity kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just the Joker.
Yeah, that's the best part about these one-shots is that you can pretty much do. Well, that's not true, though, because basically the Year of the Villain is Lex Luthor killed himself and then was like, hey, I'm gonna help villains kill the heroes. So, there's, different Year of the Villain, tie-ins, I guess. So, in Detective Comics, he went to Mr. Freeze and he's like, hey, I'm gonna help you do this, and but I'll if you do this, I'll save Nora, and he's and Mr. Freeze is like, okay, and then Lex, is helping or gave him stuff to basically fix Nora and then kill Batman. And they have the one-shots, which is what was the one that I read? Forgot which one it was. But, there was one where Riddler, where Riddler was like, why didn't Lex Luthor give me anything? He's like, I want to kill Batman. This hit was just a complete one-shot. That which I liked about it. I really did like about it. That it was that it had nothing to do with pretty much anything. The only problem I did have with it was that they're like, oh well, the cops don't matter. The cops aren't doing anything because Bane's running the city. I'm like, enough with the Batman book. I don't want to hear anything from that book. Yeah, because Bane is running Gotham technically now. From the Batman book, Yeah,
I didn't even understand what that was from.
Yeah, and I was like, holy shit. Enough. Just, holy shit. James Tynion IV, get on the Batman book quicker, please. He's going to be writing the Batman book when Tom King's off, thank God.
Reboot everything so you don't have to worry about Tom King messing with stuff.
Ridiculous. That book was so bad.
It's kind of it was Clive Barker. I mean, not Clive Barker. John Carpenter and somebody else writing it, right?
Yeah.
That other person must know some DC stuff, because I'm sure John Carpenter had no clue any of that stuff. He probably thought of the idea of it, and the other guy wrote it into an actual script.
Yeah.
But yeah. I just sent you a link because I am reading Old Man Quill.
Uh-huh.
And it seems like the new Guardians Galaxy is tying into the Old Man Quill storyline. Because they just released a new article about it. And they're fighting the Universal Church, which in the Old Man Quill, they're the main villains who've taken over the universe pretty much. So I guess this series is trying to stop that from happening, which is interesting.
Wait, the Guardians book that's going on now?
The one that's coming out soon.
Oh, okay. The one that
I think it is coming out now. I think it is still coming out now. But it does have... remember we were talking about it? We didn't know who was in the front there. It's actually Nova is on the front cover. So I guess Nova's on the team now.
Okay.
But, so they're fighting this Universal Church. So I thought it was interesting that it ties in with Old Man Quill, which is just... I think it's ending pretty soon. So... So it's I think it's I don't think it's the same writer, but it's just they must have a plan for the Guardians of the Galaxy too.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's interesting.
Yeah, so I've been reading that. I like the Old Man books. Usually they're pretty, because once again they're usually separate from everything. That's why I like them.
Yeah.
So I'm not reading Guardians, so it doesn't matter to me that it's tying in with it. But yeah, Old Man Wolverine's almost over now too. So
how was Hawkeye?
Old Man Hawkeye was fun.
Yeah.
He was pretty much hunting down all the old Thunderbolts who betrayed him and killed the rest of the heroes. So he was getting revenge. Before he went blind, he was going blind, so he wanted to get it done before he went blind. It was very like, if you really, especially if you're into the old Thunderbolts comic book when Hawkeye was a leader, it was a lot of tear-jerking moments, and it was a good story. Like it was really good for that. And this one, it's the Old Man Quill. It's a much more of a. Once again, maybe it ties into the regular comic book, which I'm not reading, but he pretty much has to stop Galactus, who's now leader of the Church. So he's trying to stop him from just eating the whole universe, or converting it really into his church. And Old Man Wolverine was, well, the classic one was really good, but this the new one, the Dead Man Logan, is. It's actually been pretty fun too, because he's gone back and he's collected Hulk's one of Hulk's children, who is still good. All the children are kind of inbred because it was Hulk and She-Hulk had children, so it's kind of disturbing. So this is the last. Pretty much Wolverine killed the rest, so this is the last one, and people are trying to use him as a weapon. So he's running around trying to stop them from doing that. With it's actually got. What's her name? Hawkeye, the other Hawkeye. Bishop. What's her name? Kate Bishop.
Yeah. I read Old Man Logan. I thought that was I really liked that book. I really do like that book. Actually, the way that I in middle school, my assistant principal let me borrow a copy of Old Man Logan, and I read it. Because me and him were buds. All we would talk about is like the comic books. That's when I first like started getting like hardcore back into the comic books. Because like me and Coach were, he was buying books, and then he stopped, and then back in like right before the New 52 started, we started reading it again, and then we stopped like right when they were about to start the New 52, and then right after the New 52 ended, technically the DC universe that is now is in the New 52 universe, but I'm saying like when they got when they got rid of the New 52 title, that's when I got back into it, or that's when we got back into it. So like, we missed the New 52. I don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing, but and my assistant principal, I read Old Man Logan. I really liked it. I have to get that. I want to get Old Man Hawkeye, and then I want to get Old Man Quill when that's done. All in trades.
Yeah, Yeah, I'm
and
pretty
just
sure
have
Old Man Logan is in nice omnibus now, so
yeah.
it's nice to have.
Yeah, I gotta get that. But yeah.
Anything else you read this week? Do you want to talk about?
Actually, Joker Harley Criminal Sanity, a new Black Label magazine format like book from DC. And here's the thing, okay? It wasn't looking good when I got it, because if you look at the cover and you look at the back and you look at the spine, there is no indicator saying that it's number 1 or book 1. It literally says it nowhere. And it doesn't even have it on the spine. And that pissed me off so much that it doesn't have it on the spine, so I can't put it on my shelf. You know what I mean? Because there'll be nothing there. And it literally does not say number 1 anywhere. The only way you can tell it's a number 1 is if you look at the barcode, because if it says 111, that means it's number 1 and variant cover 1. So, or I mean, not variant cover, but like cover 1. So if it was 121, it would be number 1 variant cover 2, you know? So that's the only way you could tell it's a number 1. And it literally doesn't say book 1 anywhere, and it pisses me off so much. But I do have to say that book was fantastic. That book was actually really good, and it's very weird because Harley Quinn is a detective working for the GCPD, but she's not like crazy, and she's like investigating murders. It's so weird. I kind of don't know what's going on, but it's really good.
And that's
Yeah.
that's the Black Label ones?
Yeah. All the Black Label books have been pretty good, you know? Except Superman Year 1, but that's besides the point.
But I thought aren't they all supposed to be owed to continuity, or is only some of them?
I mean, it depends, because like Superman Year 1 is officially the new origin of Superman, and Harleen is the new origin of Harley Quinn, you know, which actually that book is pretty good, was pretty good too, Harleen. But, you know, like Batman Damned is not in continuity, you know, because Etrigan, you know, the demon is a black guy who's got these horns and is a DJ. So, you know, it's definitely not in continuity. And this is definitely not in continuity because it doesn't make any sense. And the cool thing is that like we get hints of Batman. We don't really see him. Like there's a part where Batman is on a motorcycle and he but you don't really see him. You see him from like an aerial view, and he cuts in front of a truck on a bridge, and the truck hits, like, swerves and hits into a car, and then the car falls off the bridge. And so you barely see Batman in the actual book. You see him probably in like 2 panels, but like that's like, it's like a, you know, like an aerial shot or something, you know. You see the bat signal once, you know. It's like really just he's barely in it, which is great, you know what I mean, because it's not a Batman book, you know. And it's weird though, it's going to be 9 issues. It's like such a weird number.
Yeah.
You know, for this like magazine $6 format, you know what I mean? The magazine format that's $6. You know, usually like the other ones are $8 and it's only 3 issues, but you know, it's just very weird. But I thought it was really good. I really, really, really liked it, you know. And I gotta say though, DC was really on a streak this week. Like Detective Comics was good. You know, the Joker book was pretty good. Like I said, Joker Harley. The Batman's Grave #1. We talked about this a couple of podcasts ago, that it was coming out. It was pretty good, you know? And it's only 12 issues, and I really liked it. I really did. And I'm surprised that I actually liked it. And actually, the Roy picked up this issue, and I told him, I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, it might be good. I don't know. I haven't read it yet. And then I read it before, And I know the Roy wants to maybe talk about it when the whole thing's over, but it was actually pretty good. And I'm surprised and happy because it's a Batman book that's actually pretty good. And also, he's a what do you call it? What's that thing? Oh yeah, a detective in this.
Unusual.
Like, yeah, I know, right? He's an actual detective in this. But yeah, it was pretty good. Oh. You know what else came out this week?
What's that?
Doctor Doom.
Doctor Doom?
Yeah.
Was it good?
Probably the best book of the week.
Oh, yeah?
Excellent. It's so good. Hopefully I'll have the review up by the time this episode podcast is up. Hopefully I'll have my review up. But basically, it's fantastic. It's so good. And it's like, it shows like Doctor Doom's not a villain. He's not a villain. He's a guy that really cares about Latveria and the people of Latveria. You know what I mean? It was really good, and I'm so happy it was good because I was kind of scared, like, oh, okay, like, are they gonna screw it up? But I actually really, really liked it. I really thought it was good. And I'm surprised, But now that means I have to cut off some of my books because, it's another number one that I have to read, a new series I have to read. But I stopped reading the Miss Marvel series with this issue that came out because, whatever, it's okay. But, yeah.
There's only so much stuff you can read.
Yeah, exactly. Now you're reading Contagion.
No, I'm not reading Contagion. Please, why would I be reading Contagion?
Anyway, so you're reading Contagion. What do you think?
I'm not reading Contagion.
Didn't you say that you were reading Contagion?
No.
You said that before.
I knew it was the X-Men was in Contagion because I saw it somewhere.
Oh, I thought you were reading Contagion.
No.
Oh, never mind. Well, anyway, it's really good, and you should read it actually.
No.
It's really good. And don't you want to see your favorite Marvel characters get like diseases?
No, not really.
I actually.
Isn't it? What's it based on? It's based on a fungus, right, or something like that.
Something like that. I don't know. But it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it reminded me too much of Marvel Zombies, and it kind of disturbed me. So I was like, I don't want to read this. But if it's good, maybe I'll catch it when it's out all together.
Yeah, but the weird thing is that it's weekly.
Well, that's Marvel.
like, but why? Like, what's the point of that?
More money for Marvel. That's how they stay on top. They put out thousands of books.
I don't know.
They have to put out a lot of books every month, otherwise DC will have more share.
Even if Marvel cut down the books that they were putting out, they would still have a shit ton more of books that they were putting out than Marvel. I mean, than DC. I mean.
Oh yeah, they could drop. I think didn't they say it's like 3 times as much coming from Marvel.
Yeah, it's really just nuts.
They put out so much. I don't like their strategy, but I guess it works. They're making lots of money, and DC's talking about getting sold. So I guess that's a good sign. Marvel is being successful, but yeah. Yeah,
I think that that Marvel's kind of killing the industry with all these like variant covers and whatnot. It's crazy. I feel like they're just wasting money by doing that. Let's put out all these variant covers. It's ridiculous. Like I understand like a variant cover like per book, but like some books have like 3 for no reason. It doesn't make any sense. And DC has a variant cover for each book, and all the variant covers are really nice, and they're like cardstock on like the cardstock material.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really nice. And then you get a variant cover. You get those stupid goddamn Mary Jane variant covers.
Did you see how many variant covers for X-Men #1 there is?
How many are there?
There's at least 10.
Jeez! You know how many there were for Spawn?
No.
For like Spawn 300 and 301, there were like 20.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's... Like, I'm guessing at that amount, but, yeah.
We filled up 2 shelves.
Just with that covers.
Of just Spawn 301 covers. I got it because of the Alex Ross cover. There was the Alex Ross Virgin cover, and it was really, really nice. So that's the only reason why I got it. I don't know how 300 was because I was too lazy to read it. Maybe I'll go back and read it. I don't know. Coach said it was actually not bad, but I don't know. It's another book I have to read then. But
yeah, I just looked. There is 10 variant covers for X-Men #1, and that's not including like Dynamite, and what's the other one that do covers too? Their versions. Who is it? It's Dynamite and who's the other one? I don't know. There's a couple companies that just do alternate covers too, so I'm sure they'll have some more too. Yeah. So. Yeah, that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
But even Transformers #13 has 3 variant covers. Like, really? Like, even IDW's doing that. Almost every one of their comics has 3 variant covers.
Well, okay. But that's like you have your regular cover, then you have the variant cover. But then the third variant cover is like a 1 in 10 variant. You know, so for every 10 issues that like our store buys, or orders through Diamond or whatever, they get one of that cover. Yeah. So I don't really count those, just because it's just
a little extra.
Yeah, it's just like a little extra thing. It's not really just another variant cover that you can get,
Well, Absolute Carnage #4 has 9 variant covers, and that's a #4.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I'm just looking at a list, and it lists all the variants, and it's just, oh my god, there's just so many. Like, there's 5, I think, for Absolute Carnage Avengers, but that's a #1. There's 3 for Scream, 4 for Deadpool. Like, it's okay. But yeah, 9 for... It's like, really?
Now, you thought you could escape Absolute Carnage, but you can't, because there is a one-shot coming out that is Absolute Carnage. I think it's like Weapon Plus or Weapon X or something.
If it's Weapon Plus, I could avoid that completely.
I don't remember exactly what it was.
It probably is that one. Remember that series that, because it turns out Venom's one of the weapons, like, for some reason, somehow. That was that Weapon Plus thing with Captain America and Wolverine.
Yeah. It is Weapon Plus.
Yeah. So I think there'll be a lot more of those Weapon Plus things coming out, which I'm amazed it hasn't been since then. There's only been that one, right?
Yeah. It's weird. It says to be continued at the end of it, you know?
And that was like months ago, so it's strange.
Well, Weapon H is going to be in it.
Yes.
Just that, yes.
Yeah. I can't say much more.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know anymore.
It's just too much.
Yeah, it's too much.
But you do look at the list of like DC comics. It's like, okay, it'll fit a 1 page. The Marvel comics, you have to scroll like a few times to get through them all.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, there's at least 3 times as many Marvel comics.
But, yeah, that's pretty much, well, almost it, because I do want to talk about today, at the time of recording this podcast, we had an event at our local comic store, All Star Comics and Collectibles in Lindenhurst, New York.
I'm beginning to think they sponsor us, and I'm not getting any of this money.
well, they don't sponsor us, but I work there, so I have to.
So they sponsor you.
I guess so. I sure, but I want to support them. I gotta support them, and they we had an event today. We had Bob McLeod at the store, the co-creator of the New Mutants. He's done some other stuff. I did an interview with him. You might see that maybe this weekend or so. I don't know when I'll get a chance to actually get that up, but hopefully I can get that up soon. And it was really fun. I wasted not wasted a lot of money. I wouldn't say wasted is the right term to use, but I did spend a lot of money. And I bought, 5 prints from him. And, we had some sales at the store. I took advantage of that even though I worked there. And it was a lot of fun. And we hung out, and hopefully you guys can see the interview. I showed some of the guys' artwork and whatnot, and it was really fun. And if you guys are ever in the area, come down to All Star Comics and Collectibles, just because it is a really nice comic store, and we got a lot of stuff in there, graded books, whatever you're looking for. We got it, maybe, possibly, hopefully, but yeah. So today was fun. I bought a Conan print, bought a Doom print, a Swamp Thing print. There was one of Hulk attacking Daredevil. And then there was Punisher and Wolverine teaming up. They were next to each other. And then he had a bunch of just original art that he did, just sketches of different characters. And I was flipping through. I'm like, these are pretty cool. And I flip over. I'm like, holy shit. It was the Creeper. I was like, oh my god. I need this so badly. Because Creeper is one of my favorite comic book characters. Because he's just so obscure and weird. I love him, And he's, do you know who that is, Rob, right? Or no?
Oh yeah, Creeper, of course.
Yeah, he's, I really like. I don't know why.
It's the color scheme.
Yeah, it's just the color scheme is just so weird. The funny thing is the way the reason I know who he is that at an old gaming store that was near us. We I forgot what it was called, but they had HeroClix there, and they my first booster pack for HeroClix had the Creeper in it. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And my dad was like, oh yeah, it's the Creeper, this and that, he's pretty cool. And I did my research and I fell in love, and then I have basically every series that the Creeper had on his own, he had one written by Steve Niles, I think it was. Wow. which was actually pretty damn good. He had another one in the 90s, it started okay, and then it kind of was garbage. And then I have a hardcover, edition of Steve Ditko's, the original Creeper stuff, because Steve Ditko created him. So I have it's his first appearance plus issues of his actual series. So it's very cheesy, but I love it so much. And I saw that sketch that Bob McLeod did, and I was like, oh, I need it. I need it bad. But yeah, and today was fun. And like I said, if you're in the area, stop by and say hi. And yeah. So, Rob, anything else to talk about that you can think of?
I would like to stop by and visit sometime, but it's a bit of a distance.
You should walk here.
Yep, just pop in.
Just pop in and say hi.
But you guys always do events there, which is cool.
Yeah, we try to do them as much as we can. Actually, Bob McLeod was our first. Because actually we've been there. We're coming up on the 1 year anniversary or did it pass? I don't know. Well, we're there almost a year, or we are there a year. But Bob McLeod was our first like event that we had there a year ago, and then we had Billy Tucci and Jeff Edwards there. Those were like kind of like the big like artists and or writers and stuff like that we had. But we've had like, local artists, like Fat Guy Inc. They're like a local these just two big dudes who just draw, There's some local artists. We try to have events there as much as we can to liven up the store and and stuff like that. And it's fun. We do as much as we can. And we also try to support local artists, on Long Island and stuff like that.
That's
Long Island.
I heard that, yeah.
But yeah, it is fun. And we did have the Conquest of Triton 3 there.
Yeah, so you're getting gaming in there too, so that's cool.
Yeah, we try to do game night every week, but people have to show up for it.
Yeah, it's an issue.
I go there and I set up Dead Zone and nobody shows up for it, So I'm like, you know what? If you're not going to show up, then come on. I want to do it. I want to get people into Dead Zone so that next year Conquest of Triton 4 can be even bigger. Hopefully we can have over 20 people, But,
yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it for this episode of the Superhero Crew podcast. And
for having nothing to talk about, we definitely talked about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we didn't have. I really had nothing to talk about, but this was good. This was good. Hopefully next week we have some actual things to talk about. I hope, and yeah, guys. So that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for, like I said, my coverage of the event that we had at the store today, we had it today as of this recording, but hopefully it'll be up by the time this episode is out. So guys, check that out, and also my Doctor Doom review, if that's also out. Maybe we'll see, possibly, I don't know. And yeah, guys, that's it. We will see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.
There you go. You can't forget the bye-bye.
It was a dramatic pause.